Greetings and salutations today. Greetings and salutations. I want to discuss on the family from a perspective that I think is fun because I talk a lot of politics, hardball politics, and it's always and it can be kind of grim and and I decided to make it fun today. And and this is what I'm going to talk about. We'll talk about All in the Family, some of the major characters, not every character from the series, but just some of the characters that stands out politically for me because there's a lot that I have read into the program, and there's a lot that I formulate an opinion of some of these people and how they carry on with their lives from a political perspective. Maybe I'm just reading just too much into things, but I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that by discussing All in the Family, its premise. We're going to start off with the prehistory of All in the Family. I'm Bernie Bro. Stay tuned. Well, for those that don't know this, and some people who are fans of the program are familiar with All in the Family, know this, but there's a lot of people that don't know that All in the Family started out originally as a British television show called Till Death Us Do Part. Let me explain that. Um, Till Death Us Do Part was written by Johnny Spite, and he did a program that was about a working class bigot named Alf Garnett, who had a kind of a sarcastic wife named Elsie, one hell of a pistol of a daughter named Rita, who's very, very sarcastic, and a left wing son in law from Liverpool, England, by the name of Michael Rollins. And the program is based on this. Alf Garnett is a super, super right wing Brit. He loves the Queen. He loves Winston Churchill. He loves his Tories. And he's supposedly with the Church of England, but never goes to church. But he is a British patriot through and through. His son-in-law, Michael Rollins, is from Liverpool. He's from Liverpool. His parents emigrated from Liverpool from Ireland, working class, Trotskyite, supports the Labour Party, embraces revolutionary socialism. While he was in London, he started dating Rita Garnett. And all of a sudden, they wanted to get married. And Alf didn't approve because, he's Irish, his family's Catholic, he's got revolutionary left politics, and he just poverty stricken, which Michael was. However, just slightly, Alf Garnett was slightly less impoverished than Michael himself. But that's how the evolution of the program came. The TV show lasted from 1965 until 1976, and then it was off the air, and they brought it back as what's the name of the program? I cannot think of the name of the program at the moment, and I'm embarrassed. But the name of the TV show was Till Death Us Do Part. They argue all the time. And the thing about it is that Alf and Mike argued politics, but they actually tolerated each other and had some common interests. They loved their football, soccer. They were both alcoholics, and and they were, in some ways, they were much closer to each other than Archie and Mike were in the United States. Now, how does this evolve into All in the Family? Well, Norman Lear was in England, and he happened to see the TV show, and he was impressed with what he saw, and he went through the legal channels and talked to Johnny Spite, and it was kind of like, well, I would like to do an American version of this program. So he came back to the States and developed the script and the characters. Alf Garnett became Archie Bunker. Elsie became Edith. Rita became Gloria, and Mike remained Mike. You know, Archie and Edith were lower middle class people, probably low church Episcopalians. And Edith was, I'm not going to say she was liberal, but she was certainly more liberal than Archie, and Archie was a bigot in every way you can imagine. Son-in-law Mike was his father, mother were Polish immigrants. He lived in the United States, and he started to go to college. I'm going to assume City College in New York, and he started dating Gloria, and then they got married. And just like in Till Death Us Do, Archie and Mike always ended up arguing politically all the time. Now, this went on until Mike graduated from college, and then eventually Mike and Gloria moved to California. Yada, yada, yada. Apparently, Mike and Gloria separated and got a divorce, and Gloria moved back to New York, and she became a veterinarian assistant, and she had her own TV show called Gloria. Well, I want to talk about the politics of Archie and Mike. Archie was basically your typical hard hat, patriotic American, America, love it or leave it. Very prejudiced against blacks, prejudice against Jews, prejudice against anybody that wasn't a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. Not exactly a white nationalist per se, but he had his bigoted views that was the mindset of that time. And Mike was anything but that. Archie, as I said, now he mellowed over the years, just as a lot of people do in some ways, and he was not necessarily a prototype alt-right person. However, he was. I want to speculate that Archie, because Edith died in 1980. Archie lived, I'm going to say, from 1923 the year 2019, and he was 96 years old. He was basically your typical New England. I don't mean New England as in country club Republican, but he was basically a partisan Republican, probably converted from the Episcopal Church to the Roman Catholic Church because in his mindset they were too liberal. That's what I'm guessing. And he probably ended up being a Donald Trump supporter. But he died at the age of 96. That's what I'm going to speculate. Now, what's interesting is the meathead, Mike. Mike was the left-wing son-in-law. Now, I'm reading too much into it. When I watched the very first episode, the pilot for All in the Family, Lionel Jefferson, that's George and Louise's son, Lionel, came next door. Came over. They weren't neighbors yet. Came over to help Archie. I mean, you help Mike and Gloria get ready for the brunch for Archie and Edith when they gotten back from church, and they were having a conversation, and just casually, Lionel's like, "Well, how are you, young, angry, white social democrats, doing on the campus?" Now, I find the term social democrat a very curious term because it's just something that's not really this emphasized in America. It's not really an American term. Yeah, the term when you call somebody a socialist or a communist or a pinko or a liberal, those are phrases we're very familiar with, and most people who are politically aware are they kind of know what a social democrat is, but it's just a lexicon that's not used here too often. Well, I've read a lot into that, and this is how I'm reading into why Lionel called Mike a social democrat. This is probably the late 60s, early 70s, and I speculate that Mike, at that time, was a member of the Young People's Socialist League, which was the youth section of the old Socialist Party of America. That is the Socialist Party of America of Eugene Debs and Norman Thomas. It became the Socialist Party, Social Democratic Federation at that point. And I think that really, they don't say it, but I think pretty much all kinds of hints indicate that Mike was a member of the Socialist Party, Social Democratic Federation, and its youth section, the Young People's Socialist League. Why specifically the Socialist Party of America and YPSL? Well, there's a couple of indicators. One, when Archie kept on calling Mike a communist all those years on the show, he would make it very abundantly clear that he was not a communist and he opposes that system. And the character seemed very sincere. So, the Socialist Party of America, YPSL, anti-communist of the left. Another indicator is Mike, sometimes being called liberal, talking about how bad capitalism is occasionally, using the term capitalism to critique it. So he's opposed to communism. He's very critical of capitalism. Sounds like a democratic socialist to me. And then he will occasionally tell Archie, well, this is how it's done in England. This is how it's done in some of the other countries. Kind of a Eurocentric worldview of economics. And when Archie was talking about not believing in the idea of a female head of state, Mike specifically mentioned Golda Meir. Why is that relevant? Well, in the context of the 1960s and 70s, when support for Israel was still a mainstream point of view for the left, keep in mind that Golda Meir was the prime minister. She was a socialist. In America, she was a member of the Socialist Party of Wisconsin, and she was the head of the Labor Party in Israel, and the whole labor Zionism thing when Israel being founded by socialists initially. I think that was an indicator right there that Mike was a member, as I said, of the SP and YPSL. Now, when Mike and Gloria moved to California and they split, I'm going to speculate that Mike kept that tradition going, and he ended up probably in the 70s, the rest of the 70s, the post-split from the Socialist Party, he ended up in DSOC, or what is called Democratic Socialist Organizing Committee. And so that's what I'm guessing when it comes to Mike, the character from All in the Family. Of course, for those that do not know, the DSOC, or Democratic Socialist Organizing Committee, and the New American Movement merged and became Democratic Socialists of America in 1982. And I'm going to assume that Mike Stivic was and still is a member of Democratic Socialist America to this day. Now let's talk about Edith Bunker's cousin, Maude Findley. Maude was the liberal, progressive, New Deal liberal counterpart of Archie Bunker. So, thing about Maude, she had a character that was she probably admired Congresswoman Bella Abzug of New York, and Bella Abzug then was to the people of New York and America what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is to America today. And the thing about it is that probably all the characters on the show were leftists and giving you their perspective. I suspect with the evolution of Maude, she entered politics, but I'm going to say that she probably lived from the year 1922 to 2013. She was 91 years old. That's what I'm going to speculate. And she went from basically being a Bella Abzug liberal progressive to evolving into being what is now basically a Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, Dianne Feinstein style Democrat. Or she would have probably been that had she lived long enough. So her politics, she was an authentic liberal that became kind of a corporate centrist later on. So that's my take on All in the Family and the political evolution of some of its major characters. And of course, getting back to Archie, and on a non-political basis, he probably ended up moving out of state eventually, or probably moved up to upstate New York. We're going to say he sold his house in the mid 1980s to Ernie Cumberbatch, who he used to work with at the dock. That character was played by John Amos, and he had his own show called 704 Hauser. And basically, Ernie Cumberbatch was basically Archie Bunker's African American counterpart. And same digression of the show that happened with All in the Family. Same thing with 704 Hauser. Anyway, that's my take on All in the Family. As I said, I love to have fun about stuff like that. And I want you all, when you listen to this, to subscribe. Feel free to comment, good, bad, or indifferent. And I shall be instant messaging a really cool person in just a short moment. So take care. Bye-bye.